no echo. If that's the case, then we're good. This is why it's the behind the scenes of the show.
Yes, we're basically our beta testers.
Thank you.
Hey, a quick reminder, if you are watching just on the live stream, a great way to catch the entire show and past episodes is to subscribe to the Geared Up podcast. And you can do that in whatever podcast app you listen to. I happen to listen in Overcast and
so do I.
Apple Podcasts. You know, the Google Podcast app is excellent. I've tried it out on Android. And you can find that anywhere. You can also go directly to geekwire.com/gearedup to subscribe. And with that,
yes.
I
and
think,
hey, before you jump in, also, I'm running an iPhone XS giveaway and iPhone XR giveaway.
Oh.
Head to the channel.
Okay, can I do my plug then?
Oh, yeah. You have a plug.
Okay.
Give the plug out there.
Next Wednesday, as part of the GeekWire Summit, Reggie Fils-Aimé, the president of Nintendo of America, will be one of the featured speakers at the GeekWire Summit in Seattle. Tickets are available still, and there's a special discount just for Geared Up viewers and listeners, and that is Geared Up. And you can get 15% off tickets if you go to geekwire.com/summit. And you can see Reggie, the CEO of Boeing, is going to be speaking that same morning, talking about drones and all sorts of high-tech stuff.
Yes.
And the day before, it's going to be the CEO of Ring, the company that was acquired by Amazon.
Exactly. I talked to him last week.
Jamie Siminoff. Yeah, great guy.
So before we get started, just to kind of keep, hello El Jefe Reviews. Shout out to him. Someone's asking, is the Wi-Fi slow on the iPhone XS Max? I just want to say it out loud so I'll remember to answer that later. I will answer that later. Actually, spoiler, no. And yeah, that's it.
Okay.
We're ready to go with the show now. So we will be answering and addressing the live chat during the breaks. So if you guys are watching, if someone new comes in and is like, hey, these guys are ignoring us, this sucks, would you mind just letting them know, hey, they're going to answer us during the breaks, guys. Chill.
Sounds good. I'm waiting for the word from Claire, and then I am ready. Okay.
Here we go.
Welcome to Geared Up. I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
Andrew, I am excited about our topics for today.
Are you?
Because it's the next generation of something that I'm already excited about using.
Ooh, I don't even know which one that is.
Facebook announced the next Oculus device that blends the features of the Oculus Rift and the Oculus Go, and I'm a big Oculus Go fan.
Is basically your favorite tech of the past year. It seems like.
It's really hit the mainstream for me. So we'll talk about that coming up. Plus, we will go hands-on with your new Apple Watch
Wrist on
Series 4
and iPhone XS Max.
XS Max. That's the Max.
This is the Max.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about that coming up in the second segment, and we will recap and do kind of a week later analysis of the big Amazon Alexa announcements.
That's right. I have some thoughts, especially on that microwave.
Okay, that's a great teaser, and you haven't even told me what your thoughts are.
No, but they're not positive. How about that?
Okay. All right. Stick around. It sounds like Andrew may have a rant in the works.
A little bit.
Hey, a big thanks to National Car Rental for making Geared Up possible. We will have the National Car Rental story of the week coming up later on in the show.
Yes.
But first, let's dive in.
What story numero uno? Shout out to my boy John Prosser.
The story number one is Oculus Quest.
Oculus Quest.
This is a new device that was just announced this week by Facebook and Oculus, its virtual reality company. It's going to sell for $399.
Ooh.
This was announced at the Oculus Connect 5 keynote, and really it is something that's going to be in between the Oculus Go and the Oculus Rift. This is a device that will have the ability to track your motion and know where you are in 3D space. Explain the significance of that, Andrew, because I know it's a big deal for you.
Yeah, it is a big deal for me. So a lot of people see the headsets that people wear, right? You have a VR headset on, but they're not all built the same as far as moving around goes. So the vast majority of them, you put a headset on and you have either your smartphone in there or just some sort of integrated screen, and you're looking and you can see what it wants to show you. So let's say the scene is a movie theater, and like you're sitting in a movie theater seat and you have a big screen in front of you, right? Well, if you turn your head or you start walking around, that same scene is kind of static.
Right. It sticks with you. It's as if you were standing in the same place, but just moving around in 360 degrees.
So what 6 degrees of freedom means, which is what this offers, is if you're in that same movie theater scene, if you look to your left, the screen goes away because it's as if it mimics what you would see in real life. So if you turn, you see the side of the movie theater. If you look up, you see the ceiling. If you look down, you see your feet.
And then if you walk around,
and if you get up and walk around, you can leave your row.
It knows where you're going.
Yeah.
And they say that it's arena scale tracking, and it then supports at least 400 square feet of space. So that's a pretty sizable room.
That's
so
pretty big, yeah.
You're thinking, basically 40 feet by 40 feet. So that is a pretty sizable room.
That's interesting. 20 feet by 20 feet. But, thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Claire.
What's odd, though, is with that much space, right? When you look at Apple and their AR stuff and the multiplayer AR, what's cool about multiplayer AR is you have a big space, but you can actually see where you're going because you're not covering up your eyes with a headset. In 20 by 20 space, why would you want to walk around when you can't really see? You know what I mean? That's a weirder. I mean, it's nice that it's that big, but like, how are you gonna use that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the other thing that we should note about this is the fundamental features are it's untethered. So you do not have to be connected to a computer.
Yes.
So in that way, it's like the Oculus Go.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you don't have to put a smartphone in. So it's
Yes.
like the Oculus Go in that way. So it's not something like the Gear VR where you have to put a Galaxy phone in there, which is a total pain in the butt. And it has some of the same features of the Rift, and they're promising to bring more PC games to this new device. Yes, to the Oculus
How
Quest.
powerful is this thing?
That's one thing. They did not announce the specs. So they did say that the resolution of the screen is the same as the Oculus Go, so 1600 by 1440 per eye.
Okay.
But apparently it's going to have better specs and run games and all sorts of programs on a level that's closer to the Oculus Rift.
Okay, not bad.
And it's going to work with the Oculus Touch controllers, or a version of the Oculus Touch controllers.
So that's cool. Now, didn't you mention that someone announced that this is the final headset in this generation?
It is. So Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook CEO, got up there and talked about this device, which clearly indicates its significance. This is not just something that's only important to Oculus. It's important to Facebook. And he did say this essentially rounds out this generation of Oculus devices. And what's interesting about that, and by the way, the Quest $399, it's going to come out in the spring of 2019.
Oh, weird. That's a long pre-announcement.
Yeah, so this is not a holiday device.
Yeah.
But the interesting question that comes up out of that is, okay, if this is the last in this generation, what's the next generation?
What comes next for Oculus?
And they previewed that a little bit with one of the demos they did of the Quest, which was an augmented reality demo in a workspace.
Okay.
And you can see where Oculus might be in a better position to get into augmented reality more gradually compared to people who just started there, like Microsoft with the HoloLens or Magic Leap with their device starting off in augmented reality. Because they've built the big user base, they've built the name recognition, they have the developers, they have the software, the platform, and now they can use that as a jumping off point into augmented reality.
So I wonder what that means. Does VR kind of start to fade away and we just go into AR, or?
I think you're going to see a variety of experiences. And for people who haven't tried it, augmented reality, I think the most simple thing we can point to is something like Pokemon Go, where you're out in the real world and you essentially have digital things on your phone that are interacting and overlaying. And obviously we've seen it in the AR kit from the iPhone. And I think you're going to see, personally, a blend of different experiences that in some cases are completely occluded and in other cases are essentially transparent to the rest of the world around you. And I think that's where the 6 degrees of freedom starts to get really interesting, right?
Yes.
Because if you can walk around a space and also see where you're going,
there was a really cool demo that a developer made last year where you are walking around the room and you can see everything as if you're in the room, but they made a doorway, an AR doorway that you can see like just in the middle of the room. But if you walked through the AR doorway, you actually enter into a totally different version of the room where the room is now like cell shaded. And then that doorway, if you peer through the doorway, you see the regular looking room.
Whoa.
And then it was amazing. And that might be a mixture of VR and AR. You walk through the door and all of a sudden everything is changed, but you can still see out the door and walk through.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Well, it makes me think back to that first demo that I ever got of the Microsoft HoloLens, which was when they announced it, like, gosh, 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Minecraft scene, essentially.
They did?
Where,
Wow.
Where you walked,
yeah.
you walked through the room, and to me, that was, frankly, much more mind-blowing than anything I've seen in Oculus Go. Even though I love the Oculus Go, you could basically walk over to the edge of the room and knock through a wall and then peer down, and it was all virtual, but it was overlaying the real world. It's powerful. It's really powerful, even with what was then and still is a pretty limited field of view in the HoloLens.
Yeah. And you know what I was thinking? Like, obviously, this has nothing to do with this announcement, but remember the big cell phones like 20 years ago? The big, bulky phones, right?
Yes.
Back then, you would never think that we would have something this small and thin that you can talk to someone face-to-face anywhere in the world just in your hand. I'm wondering, 20 years from now, what are these big, bulky headsets that we make fun of today going to look like?
Right. They're going to be glasses, right?
That's amazing.
So, and you're going to look back and you're going to say Google's Project Glass, maybe that was on the right track. And that is the other thing. I think you're definitely on the right path there, because clearly these devices have to become easier to wear.
Yeah.
If you have
easier
them on,
and cooler. Like, you kind of feel nerdy putting on an AR headset.
Yeah. My big thing is I don't understand why this hasn't become more mainstream with the release of the Oculus Go and the Lenovo Dream. What is it?
I forget.
Yes.
I forget the name.
And the Lenovo device that does have the 6 degrees of freedom and does have that capability. That
I can tell you why I think.
Why?
AR and VR are the kinds of things that no one can explain to you. And we saw that before we started the show. We were watching the preview video, the teaser video, right, from Oculus. They didn't even show the thing because you can't. It's hard to tell somebody what VR is. That's one of those things you have to like experience.
Yeah.
And so I think it's something where if you don't try it out, why would you buy it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's the Lenovo Mirage.
Mirage, yes.
Yeah, and they basically, that and the Oculus Go, I thought were going to bring this into the mainstream. And to your point, they just haven't gotten there yet.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what kind of reception the Oculus Quest gets, and if that advances it any further. $399, I have a hunch that'll be the starting price.
Are you buying one?
Oh, now that, you always ask me that question,
I always ask
Andrew.
you that, and I feel like the answer to this one is going to be yes.
Yeah, I think so. In fact, I might. Yes, I've become a bit of an Oculus. I don't want to say fan because we do have to cover them, but I do like what they're doing, and I really like the way they've democratized this and made it something that, like, I took the Oculus Go to Thanksgiving, or like, gosh, where was it last year? Like, I took it to my parents' place.
Okay.
And my mom and dad,
they had a good time.
Yeah, they were like, "Whoa, this is cool."
Okay. Question. Oh, you know what? No question. Okay. Question.
Yes.
To close out this segment, how do you feel about the fact that this is a Facebook product as far as privacy goes?
I will tell you, the setup for the Oculus Go was eerie in that regard. In that, if I recall correctly, it defaulted to making a good portion of your activity public to your Facebook friends.
Okay.
And not that I'm doing anything on the Oculus Go that I would want to hide, but I also just don't like the concept of somebody being able to peer into my daily life. Who knows what the consequences might be? And it wasn't that extreme. So to answer your question, I'm not super comfortable with it, but as long as I think I'm aware of it as a user, other people are aware of it as people using the Oculus products, and take steps to change their settings, I do think Facebook should make the default as locked down as possible, and I'm surprised that that wasn't the case.
But what about, aside from that portion, what about the fact that it's just Facebook getting your data? Does it bother you? Because like the Lenovo Mirage, Lenovo was not getting your data.
No, I think that there's enough benefit. In other words, some of the cool things are the ability to do remote communication with other Oculus users, and I think there's enough benefit in the fact that they have the network, they brought the network together, and they've got to be compensated for what they do somehow, and the compensation we've chosen as a society and they've chosen as a business is that they get our personal information and they are able to use that to deliver targeted ads to us. So,
fair enough.
All right. That is the new Oculus Quest. We will have more on that on future shows, and I'm sure we'll have a hands-on when it comes out next spring. It's $399, just announced. Coming up next, we will go hands-on with the latest from Apple. Andrew's got it on his wrist. We'll do that on Geared Up on Kyra Radio 97.3 FM. We'll do that coming up next on Geared Up on GeekWire on Kyra Radio 97.3 FM. Yep. We'll do that coming up next on Geared Up.
All right. Let's see what's going on in the live chat. This chat room is active. Good. Thanks, everybody, for... Okay, let's see. Let me find some question marks. Yeah, that's the easiest way. I mean, there are also statements like, Leslie Hayes, I'm geared up to get my gold iPhone XS Max today.
Oh.
Good.
Cece, are you still watching? Thanks for the happy birthday. Thanks for the...
Is it your birthday today?
Yesterday was my birthday.
Yesterday?
Thanks
Happy
for
birthday
letting us
to
know
Todd.
the echo is fixed. Appreciate it.
Andrew needs to stop raising or flexing that iPhone XS Max, says Carl. He's flexing it. No, it's like showing it off. Like,
you know, how many? Here's a quick poll. Here's a quick poll. How many people out there knew that Andrew was previously a pro wrestler?
Oh wow.
How many people out there knew that?
I don't really share that normally in my videos, so I would assume that. I mean, it's fine. I'm just saying it's not like a part of my videos. Hey, let's talk about the iPhone 10. By the way, I used to be a pro wrestler. Let's get into the specs. Let's pay Facebook $3.99 to spy on us, says Google sucks at privacy. Hey, your username matches up with your comment. I like that. You're paying them $400 to spy on you.
That's okay. Yeah, that's true.
Give
me a better option.
Some people are saying the iPhone XS Max is better because the iPhone 10 was too small. You're still on the iPhone 10.
I am.
Did you came from a plus size phone, right?
Yeah, 7 Plus.
Did you feel that it was too small?
The iPhone 10?
Yeah, the current iPhone 10
No.
versus
the screen size is bigger.
It is,
the 7
but now look.
Holy cow!
Now look.
That's a good 2.
How much is the iPhone 10 now? iPhone 10. 2/10.
Look at all that extra. Basically, I've got.
No, it's also wider though.
Oh, it's also.
I mean, you have a.
Okay.
This guy has a gigantic case on his phone. He's counting that as screen size.
Well, you got a case on there, too. All right, let's get on with this thing.
Hold on. There's more questions here. How much is the iPhone 10 now? The iPhone 10 has been discontinued. It's no longer for sale from Apple.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, iPhone 10 is gone. Somebody get Todd the Urban Dictionary. That is the best. Because you thought flexing meant like flexing. You know what Urban Dictionary is?
I should point out my birthday yesterday was my 45th.
The Urban Dictionary.
I know what the Urban Dictionary is. I did not know what flexing was.
Flexing means I'm showing off. So like, if you're flexing your muscle, you're showing off your muscles. But flexing also means like stop flexing that phone. Like stop showing that you're better than us because you got the new phone.
Okay.
Any thoughts on the Why Things Steal HR Sport? I think I have a video on that. Why Things Withings just got bought back from Nokia. So I'm kind of like, when you sell your company to another company and then that company is terrible with it and then you have to buy it back from them, I'm kind of just, it doesn't make me feel that confident about buying those products until they're back on solid ground. Okay. Talk about Hermes. Do you know how to say that, by the way?
I'm not even going there.
Okay. I bought the Apple Watch Hermes version. Hermes? Whatever. We will talk about that. And that's it. Do a drop test on the iPhone XS Max. That would require a sponsor. Okay. Let's jump back in.
All right. Welcome back to Geared Up. I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
Andrew, this is the National Car Rental Story of the Week.
That's correct. Geared Up is brought to you by National Car Rental. Go national. Go like a pro.
I don't know how many of you know this, but Andrew has another show. He's been moonlighting on Geared Up. It's called Technically Speaking, and it is done through National Car Rental. And we try to pick stories for this segment that are in line with National's goals with that and Technically Speaking.
Yeah, so National Car Rental is obviously a car rental company, and most people rent cars when they're traveling. So my show, Technically Speaking, is all about the best tech and gear that you should take with you if you're traveling for business or even for personal use.
You can find Technically Speaking at youtube.com/nationalcarrent or nationalcar.com. Just look for the control center there. And that's it. It's a great show, and you should check it out. We were just talking about stuff you're going to feature.
That's right. For the
coming
next
up.
series, yes.
All right, good. So check that out. And a big thanks to National Car Rental for sponsoring Geared Up.
Yes.
All right. Tell us about the Apple Watch Series 4.
Apple Watch Series 4.
You've got it on your wrist.
I have. I do, yeah. I've been using this for roughly 6 days or so. And you know what?
Can people see it out there?
Can you see it out there? I mean, we are pretty far away from the camera, but it is a big upgrade. Like, it's one of those upgrades that makes you realize how not good that might be too harsh, but just how much worse things were before.
Really?
It's almost like, okay, this is the 4th Apple Watch, and it's easy to liken it to the iPhone. The first iPhone didn't even have 3G in it. It was just, let's just get this out the door. Let's get the iPhone out there. There was no app store or anything like that. A year later, iPhone 3G just adds in 3G, and it's just a little bit faster, but it has the App Store now. So the App Store was the big deal. iPhone 3GS looked exactly the same as the 3G, just faster. And then the iPhone 4, that's really kind of where I think Apple stepped up its game, both from a design perspective, the first Retina display, the first stainless steel iPhone, dual glass. And this is kind of the same way. This is the first time they've redesigned the Apple Watch. And it's not just the look of the watch, but the function and the bigger display and the battery is just, it's all crazy. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so let's talk that through, starting with the last point, the battery. How often would you have had to have charged prior versions of the Apple Watch, and how often do you have to charge this?
The first Apple Watch you had to charge nightly. Like, no matter what, just charge it nightly or it's not going to last. The previous one, Series 3, did last about, I would say, a day and a half. So even if you forgot to charge it at night, you will still get through maybe half the day the next day, and you'd be cool. This one I have been wearing today for about 5 hours, and I have 91% battery left. So that's tremendous.
That's going to last you 2 days.
Yeah, and what's interesting, though, I just found out yesterday, the battery in the Series 4 is smaller than the battery in the Series 3. It's less milliamp hours. So Apple has optimized the software in such a way that you're getting a bigger display, so more pixels, a thinner watch, a smaller battery, and yet it'll last you, roughly 30 hours.
Got it. So do you get an Apple Watch with 3G or wireless capability in there, 4G?
Yes.
Yeah. So what kind of connectivity is it? Is it LTE?
It's LTE.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to pay, it's roughly $10 per month, at least here in the United States. For all 4 carriers, it's like a $10 per month add-on, and I do get that. It's not something I use all that often because I typically have my phone on me anyway. So if you didn't have the cellular watch, it would just go through your phone to get its connection. So it'll work the same way. But if your phone is away from you, that's where the benefit comes in, because you can still, take phone calls, stream music, and things like that. And I usually have my phone with me anyway, so it's not something I use all that often. But it is, I think, a nice to have, especially if you're like a runner or someone who, you just have to leave your phone away. I know some people who at work, they can't have their phones on them, but they can have their Apple Watch. They can still kind of just get, messages and things like that. So Apple did a really good job, I think, with the Series 4.
So the bezels are basically very thin.
Yeah, like if you look at this, like you can't even really see where the bezel is.
Yeah.
Like in the previous one, they made use of the black background to hide the bezel because there was a much thicker bezel. But on the new one, a lot of the new watch faces actually go edge to edge and kind of show off the fact that the bezel is no longer there, which they would not have done on the previous watches because it would be a clear giveaway that the screen isn't as big as it looks.
So these start at $399.
Yes.
For somebody who has a Series 3, is it worth it?
I would say this generation in particular, it is a decent upgrade regardless of which one you have. And again, going back to the iPhone 4, I would say even if you had a 3GS, the iPhone 4 is a big enough jump that it's worth, upgrading for. Series 1 to 2 was a good upgrade. Series 2 to 3 was like, there's not really much need, unless you need the LTE, there's not really much to upgrade for. But this one, again, it's just a big leap. Like, I keep finding things that impress me about the current generation watch. Phone calls are so much clearer. Like they mentioned, they moved the microphone from the left to the right, and I'm thinking, okay, that's like 1.5 inches away. So is it really a big difference going from one side to the other side? But it is, because the speaker's on one side, and then the microphone's on the other side, so the microphone's not causing that echo anymore. The walkie-talkie feature works pretty well, especially Series 4 to Series 4 watches. So yeah, good job on Apple all around, in particular on the Apple Watch. Apps work better. It's so much faster now. Previous Apple Watches, Series 3 was okay, but Series 1 and 2 were just slow as hell.
So is this a must-have, though?
A must-have? No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a must-have. It's more like today, smartphones are a must-have, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 5 to 8 years ago, smartphones were more of a luxury, and now they've become just a ubiquitous thing. I don't think we're there yet with the watch. It's not a must-have, but if you get one and you start using it, you will quickly feel like something's missing and you're less productive without it, or you just have less options. And the other thing, though, is it keeps you from picking up your phone all the time. Like if you get a notification, you just get tapped here. You're like, what was that? Oh, okay, I don't need to deal with that right now. Whereas if it's your phone, or at least with me, if my phone buzzes and I don't have the watch on, I need to see what that was. What was that? And then, oh, what was that? Okay, it was just a text message. Reply real quick. What's going on Facebook? What's going on, and it just go down the rabbit hole.
So one of the reasons I ask is we had a very similar conversation about the AirPods. I was a late adopter on the AirPods, and obviously the AirPods tie into the Apple Watch
Yes.
because you can use them in conjunction with the watch to make calls and listen to music,
Yep.
even if your phone isn't around. I was very skeptical of the AirPods, like, why do I need that? And now, if I ever misplace my AirPods briefly, I've never lost them completely. If I have to go back to wired earbuds,
Yeah. Headphones.
it's like, what the heck? I can't believe, what are these things like
Yeah.
dangling? And
Isn't
like I've
it
got to
weird?
tether them to my phone.
Right.
And I can't set it on the other side of the room and leave the phone charging and do the dishes and listen to, at any
Yeah.
rate, it's, I
So
think
how
the
would
watch
you-
may be something similar. I
So-
might not just fully recognize how
Right.
much I really need it.
So would you then say, because I would say, as much as I love AirPods, and AirPods are always in my pocket because they're so small, they're just, I just take them with me everywhere I go. My answer, though, would not be that AirPods are essential to have. They are a nice to have. They're not, you asked me, is the watch essential? But would you say AirPods would fall into the essential category?
No, they fall into the, I really, really want these.
Yeah. And so that's the watch for me. It's not something that is necessary, but Apple has done enough upgrades to make it a really nice convenience.
Got it. Okay. Hey, I am really interested in the watch, but I'm just as interested in the phone sitting next to you right there. So that is the new iPhone.
It's iPhone XS Max. Yes.
And so
Brand
this
new.
is the 6.5-inch screen.
Yes.
I've got my
It's nice.
prior generation iPhone 10 sitting here next to it. We can turn it around for the folks watching on the live stream.
Bam.
So that's a 10 next to a XS Max.
Yeah.
And the Max is giant. Yet,
I mean, look at that display.
I think it's probably more along the lines of the full hardware size of the iPhone
Yes.
8 Plus.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah. So just take an 8 Plus, get rid of the forehead and chin, which is the top bezel and the bottom bezel, and thin out the side bezel a little bit, and you've got a XS Max.
Top 3 impressions on this one.
Number one impression, gonna go same thing with the watch to the phone. The battery life is ridiculous. Let me tell you my battery life on my phone right now. I don't know how long your battery lasts. This has been off of the charger for about 5.5 hours.
And?
And my battery life as of right now is 91%.
Okay. And see, comparable for me on the iPhone 10. It's been since this morning, 73%.
Okay, so
which is more normal.
Yeah, like I could not believe the first day that I got this, I charged it full, and then I had to travel. And so it was getting in an Uber, and when I'm in the Uber to the airport, which is about a 40-minute ride from my home, I'm just on my phone the whole time. Riding on the airplane, obviously, I'm just going to, what else is there to do? I'm going to use my phone. And basically, I got to the point where when I hit 16% battery life, I had been using the phone for 10 hours.
Whoa. Wow.
10 hours, and I still had 16% battery life. And then it offers, do you want to go into low power mode, which gives you another 2 hours at 20% anyway. So I could have used this for 12 hours I'm just shocked. So that's number one. The battery life on the 10s Max is impeccable. Number two is the speed. Everything, like the new chip, but the speed is going to be the same on the 10s Max as it would be on the 10s. It has the same processor, and even on the 10R. But it's just fast. Everything snappy, fast, quick. It's been one of my main complaints with iOS devices since iOS 7 is just the stuttering and the sometimes it's fast, but sometimes it feels like it's caught up a little bit and then it catches back up to itself. Now that's all gone. The speed is great, and then the size, the screen size. That's the other if we're doing top three, the bigger display. So I was actually not sure how I'd feel about the bigger display because with my 8 Plus, 7 Plus, 6 Plus, I wanted the bigger phone because Apple typically added an extra feature to the camera. Portrait mode or optical image stabilization, things like that. So it was like, okay, if I want those camera features, I have to buy the Plus phone. But I never felt comfortable with those phones in my hand. I felt like they were too big. The bezels were way too big. So I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to get the 10s Max because that's the new thing and that's going to be what people want to hear about. But will I decide personally to settle to just a 10s? And the fact that the bezels are gone and it's just all screen actually makes this more comfortable to use than like an 8 Plus model.
How is it in your pocket?
It feels the same in the pocket as the other Plus phones do because it's very similar in size.
It's a little much for me.
But I mean, what's up with your pockets?
Yeah,
your pocket. Are your pants tight?
Maybe.
Lucky brand.
Lucky
brand
that's
jeans.
A topic.
But no, like it's a great device. Like a lot of people say the S upgrades, they always refer this is an S upgrade, so it's not really that big of a deal. And I usually feel the opposite. The S upgrades are Apple's best design with Apple's best specs. Last year was Apple's new design, but the 10s destroys the 10. The camera, that's the other thing. If we get number 4, we just throw number 4 in there. The camera is crazy.
High res.
Well, I mean, it's high res, yes, but Apple didn't even announce the fact that they increased the sensor size by 30%, which means the phone can take in 50% more light. It's a little bit of a wider angle, which is good because when you have a Samsung phone and you're taking pictures and you take an iPhone, the iPhone can't fit as much into the frame as a Samsung phone does because the Samsung phones have a little bit of a wider angle. Now Apple has widened the angle a little bit. And then the Smart HDR feature, which is basically you open the camera, right? And it is constantly taking photos, even though you're not pressing the button. Just in the background, it's taking 4 photos a second. And then when you hit the shutter, it saves the 4 photos plus the one you just took, and it's taking overexposed, underexposed, and like everywhere in between, and it figures out like very quickly what needs to be, it just optimizes it, puts them all together to create the best photo.
Can you think of anything negative to say about this phone?
Negative is, I mean, for a lot of people, number one, the price.
Yeah.
This is a 512 gigabyte model. This is $1,449 for a phone.
Wow.
For a phone. Number one, that's out of a lot of people's leagues for a phone, right? Even if you want 64 gigs.
That's like a monthly rent or a mortgage payment. I mean,
I understand. Even if you want 64 gigs, that's $1,099 plus tax. Now, most people aren't, I assume, buying them outright. They're doing those 2-year payoff plans, or they're doing the annual upgrade plan.
Deceiving because you're still paying.
You're still paying, but you're not paying like upfront. You're paying like $30 a month. So that would be number one. Number two, a lot of people, I think this is a big phone, and a lot of people are just going to be like, that's too big. But then you have the 10s. I think the sleeper hit, though, is going to be the 10R. That's going to be the phone. That phone is going to sell more than a 10s and 10s Max combined, in my own opinion.
And that's the cheaper phone that comes out next month?
Yeah, it comes out next month. It has almost feature-for-feature parity with the 10s, with the exception of a lower resolution LCD display and 1 camera instead of 2, and a couple of the portrait mode effects it can't do, but pretty much everything else the 10R is going to be able to do for $250 less than these other phones. So that might be the one to get. Someone asked earlier about the Hermes. I don't know if I'm saying this properly.
We'll figure it out.
Hermes, whatever it is. Hermes. Thanks, Claire. She told me, she corrected me and then said, I don't know. But it's the same watch. It's the same watch that you would get from the Apple Store, with the exception of you have the brand inscribed into the metal of the watch. You get some watch bands that are also have the inscription. You get the exclusive Hermes shade of orange. You know they had this?
No.
Tiffany blue?
Yeah.
Like Tiffany has, like, they own that shade of blue. Hermes has their own shade of orange. Obviously, I'm a big fan of orange, and so I was like, let me just try this other one. Let's just see. So
Nice.
I went to the Hermes store. Oh, and by the way, that was my secret to getting the Apple Watch on day one. Everybody's at the Apple store, right? Lined up. They have very few watches. They sell out immediately. I'm like, I'm going to go to the Hermes store. Not one person in line. I just stroll in. I'd like a new Apple Watch. Here you go. Which one?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was my secret
Perfect.
to getting a watch day one.
All right, so that is a rundown of the new Apple Watch Series 4 and the new iPhone XS Max.
Yes.
I'm finally getting these names.
You're
The
getting
names
it,
are
yeah.
The names are still tripping me up a little
And so
bit.
you're not doing any upgrading, though.
Not at all.
You're not even going to get the
No.
new watch.
No, I'm not going to get the watch. I'm not going to get the phone. I have what I need. I'm going to upgrade to iOS 12 beyond
Are you
the
scared
beta.
of the watch? Are you scared of the watch, though? Are
I
you
just-
scared that you get the watch and then you're going to like it just like you didn't want to get the AirPods? Do you think the watch might become the AirPod effect and you don't want that to happen?
Possibly.
Mm.
I also just, I mean, that's a lot of money.
I mean, it's $500.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money.
All right, so we are going to come back with Andrew's week later thoughts on the new Alexa microwave. He's got a
Yeah.
lot to say, and I don't think it's positive.
Mm.
Stick around for that coming up on Geared Up on GeekWire on Kyra Radio 97.3 FM. Okay,
What's going on in the chat?
and then let's keep this one to 8 minutes, 7 minutes.
By the way, I googled it, and if you're gonna be super French, it's Hermes.
I can't say Hermes like that. Which phone feels more heavy, 10S or Samsung Note 9? They're very similar. I think the Note 9 might feel a little bit heavier, but that's only if you have them both in your hands. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same. Someone asked if it was a Hermes watch. Yes, it is. I keep saying it differently every time. The genuine Apple Orange bands are exclusive to Hermes. That is correct. Do you have connecting issues with your iPhone and with your carrier? No, I have not experienced. So some people are saying, remember the you're holding it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are saying they're getting that with the iPhone XS.
Really?
That they're getting this
Bad
weird
calls.
bad calls.
Oh, you're probably making calls just on the AirPods, though.
That's true. I make calls on my AirPods, but even like your LTE data, like if you hold it the wrong way, you're not getting, like, you're trying to browse the web and it's not coming through.
Yeah.
I have not experienced that, and I use my phone a ridiculous amount. Andrew seems like that dude to match his watch bands with whatever he's wearing. Probably has a ton of bands.
Do you have multiple bands?
I have, I probably have like 13 or 14 different
Uh-huh.
bands. That is correct. That is me. Just use the watch and pretend you're Michael Knight. You know what? We didn't even talk about this. So one of the things in iOS 12 is Siri shortcuts. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
So you can basically tell Siri to interact with different apps that you have on your phone, and you can record whatever you want the phrase to be for it to take action on that app.
Mm-hmm.
So one of these things is I can just talk into my watch and say, like, open the trunk on my Tesla, or like start the car, like Michael Knight, and it'll start it, or it'll open the trunk, or open whatever.
How hard is that to set up?
It takes like 3 or 4 taps. Like you just tap, 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 and then it'll say record what you want your phrase to be. And so I could say, start the car, Kit, or whatever you want to say, and then you just say that. So you actually create whatever you want the phrase to be.
Okay, I've got some ideas.
It's
here.
pretty cool.
Okay, that might just sell me on it.
The only place to get a fluoroelastomer band besides Apple is a company called Band out of France. That is a spec that I did not know about that one. Someone was Grunge Smurf says, Todd, just buy some Genco jeans. You remember those?
No.
You remember back in the mid-90s, like the huge parachute, each leg was like a gigantic parachute. Oh my God. You have to search
Vaguely,
Genco,
vaguely.
J-N-C-O.
I'm
That
on
was
it.
back in the
I'm on
day.
it.
Does it filter front-facing camera pictures because Unbox Therapy is saying that it might be overlaying a beauty mode? I'm not positive if it's doing that or not. It might be adding in a filter, and if it is adding in a filter, there's no way for you to turn it off. And so if they're doing that, hoping that they stop. The skin smoothing, we already talked about that. And last one, tell me if you recommend a Tesla and what to expect upfront cost besides the car. It's just the car. There's nothing else you really need to do.
Have you sold your first Tesla yet?
No, I have like so many people like interested and then not. Everybody has to like get their financing together. So I have like a few people that are all like gunning for it, but haven't actually made the jump.
Andru at gearlive.com.
That's right. That's me. Genco's coming back. Todd's going to start the trend.
If you're looking to restart a trend, I don't think I'm your guy.
All right. Let's get back in.
Okay. Welcome back to Geared Up. I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
Andrew, I was out of town for this event last week.
You were, yes.
The Amazon event,
Yep.
which I guess is becoming an annual thing where they unveil their new line of Alexa devices for the upcoming holidays, essentially.
Yeah. This year was in the Spheres.
It was at the Amazon Spheres.
Yeah.
Was it your first time inside?
Yes. It felt very warm and humid, like you're in a jungle.
Yes.
Like crazy. Have you been in there?
I've been. Actually, you know what? I have not been in there.
Yeah,
not yet.
It's weird.
This is the new landmark in downtown Seattle. At any rate, last year it was in a kitchen in a Amazon skyscraper. This year it was in the Spheres, this sort of greenhouses that they have. They announced a series of devices, lots of different things, but I think maybe the headliner, just simply because it was such a novelty, is that there is now a new Alexa-enabled, voice-controlled microwave.
Yeah.
So is this a device that has Alexa inside it?
No.
It's a device that works in conjunction with something like an Echo speaker.
As ridiculous as that sounds, yes.
So tell us about this device, and I know you have a lot of thoughts on it.
Well, first of all, they announced the price, which is like, what's it, like $60?
$60.
$60.
Yes.
Now, $60 for a microwave that at first glance has Alexa built in. I was like, ooh, 60. I think I'm going to buy this. And then you see it, because then, they announce everything, and then they take you to the demo area so you can actually see it. So the first thing, you walk in, and you're like, where's the microwave? Like, oh, it's right there, and it's the size of a microwave you'd buy for, like, your dorm room. Okay, so it only fits, like, a bowl of cereal. Not you're going to microwave a bowl of cereal, but, like,
oatmeal.
You're not putting a lot of stuff in this microwave. It's small. Second of all, you're like, all right, maybe I can forgive the size. Show me how it works. So I'm like, okay, just put something in there. Alexa, cook this. No, why isn't it listening? And then Alexa answers from like across the room. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is Alexa answering from over there? Like, I thought this was an Alexa microwave. Well, no. You put something in the microwave and you have to have an Alexa device to talk to the Alexa device, which will then communicate to the microwave what it needs to do. So, $60 does not give you a voice-controlled microwave because you still need to spend the money on, at the very least, an Echo Dot.
Yes.
Just saying, now prices are starting to go up. Now, I don't know why I'm so sensitive about this pricing because this is pretty cheap compared to an Apple Watch or an iPhone XS Max, but it just felt like a little bit of a bait and switch. Now, it is cool that you can take a potato, put it in the microwave, and the reason I say potato is because this is a demo they kept doing over and over as people were coming by. Show me the microwave. Well, take this potato, you put it in there, close the door, and then he walks over to the Alexa, cook this potato, and then it's set, 6 minutes and 34 seconds for the potato.
So did it just have an automated time that every potato is cooked at, or did it know the weight?
I think it's just here's our potato time.
It's
and not just the time. Claire's enjoying that one, but not just the time. I think it's more like if you're gonna cook a potato, it's gonna take 6 minutes and 34 seconds, but it also knows like to cook it at like 80% power versus 100% power, whatever it is. So the Alexa service in the background, not the microwave itself, knows different things that you're going to microwave. So you can put in a coffee and say, reheat my coffee. And it'll know, okay, it probably has a temperature sensor. Here's what the coffee's temperature is now. So let's reheat it until it's back to where it needs to be.
So it's a $60 microwave, and it is to your point on the size, it is 0.7 cubic feet.
Okay, what's
And
normal?
So I was just searching on the Target site to
Okay.
try and get a little bit of a reference there. So you can get, for example, a similarly sized 0.7 cubic feet Black & Decker microwave for $65.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a 0.9 cubic feet Black & Decker for $75. You can get an Oster 1.1 cubic feet, so a pretty big microwave compared to the one that Amazon came out with for $70. So it's in the range. It's in the range, but why didn't they make it a little bit bigger?
It doesn't. So the a lot of homes that are built these days, they have the oven, stove, and they have like the range microwave above that. This is not going to fit in that area. It's way too small. For
more of a dorm room kind of
yeah.
thing.
So it's like, who is the customer you're targeting with this? Because, and I don't know the answer to that, because most families that own homes, this is not going to fit where you typically put your microwave.
Let me say this, though. There was one cool aspect of this microwave that was foreshadowed on last week's Geared Up.
That's correct.
By someone in the video stream chat on YouTube.
Yes.
Who said, wait a second, could it reorder things for you?
Right.
And I pointed out, whoa, yes, there is this service called the Amazon Dash replenishment service.
Yes.
And it does that sort of thing. It can sense in a variety of ways when you might be low on things like laundry detergent or coffee pods. And they announced with this microwave.
Yes, they announced that the microwave works with the Amazon Dash replenishment service specifically for popcorn.
Of course.
So here's how I assume it works. You order popcorn from Amazon, and let's just say it's a 10-pack of microwavable popcorn. When the microwave has popped 8 bags of popcorn, it will know you're running low and will automatically ship you your next package of popcorn.
See, this to me is the most interesting thing about this microwave because it speaks to Amazon's ambitions long term to just automate everything with your approval, but to make it truly seamless for you to spend as much money as possible on Amazon.com. This is the future.
That's it. Yeah, like you can imagine like an Amazon washing machine that automatically orders your laundry detergent, and even like a stove or like just things like that. Kitchen appliances that specifically have a tie-in to a product. It's almost like where's the Amazon printer that automatically just sends you your ink? Like where's that?
Well, there are printers in that Dash replenishment service from third party like Epson and HP and that sort of thing. But think about this. What about a washing machine that detected when it needed service and used Amazon's home services feature to schedule a repair person to come out and fix it?
Yeah.
That kind of thing is where I think we're headed. It's not just products, it's everything they sell. They are the everything store.
Right.
And that is where they're headed. And I think this is fascinating for that reason, even if I would now regret the fact, and I do regret the fact that I bought this microwave.
You bought the microwave. He bought the microwave. Why do you only buy the uncool stuff? Although the microwave costs like half of the AirPods.
Exactly.
So...
All right. Hey, that is it for Geared Up this week. For much more of the show, you can go to geekwire.com/gearedup and see archives there. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app.
If you like what we do, consider leaving us a rating and a review. It really helps people find the show. Geared Up is a GeekWire podcast. You can see more from us at geekwire.com.
Claire McGrain produces the show. Thank goodness Claire was back this week.
That's right.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Until next time, I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
We'll talk to you next time on Geared Up.
Yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat room real quick. Google sucks at privacy. Oh, that's just his name. When will you review these items? I am working on the iPhone XS and the Apple Watch reviews. Those probably take like 10 days. Like, I actually want to use stuff. Like, a lot of people just get the product and like a day later, here's my review, and it's like, I don't know if that really helps anybody. The Alexa stuff, I mean, we have to get that stuff. It's not even out yet. Like, we can't even review. Like, I don't know why people announce products that aren't even going to be out for a while. But there was way more they announced than just the microwave. But that was the odd thing and the easiest thing to talk about. They should have done an Alexa oven, set the time and everything, give you a reminder when it's done, and preheat. That would have been useful, says Dieter Rust. I mean, that might be coming. Who knows? But
this is just the first one.
I'd love to have a micro or an oven I can just talk to and just tell it, preheat to whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be nice. What about the Samsung Family Hub fridge? There's next to no apps for them, and damn, are they expensive, and people never talk about them. Why does Samsung keep getting free passes? I have one of those fridges. I did a video on the Samsung Family Hub fridge for 2017, and I'm doing a deal with Samsung again to replace the fridges are supposed to last like 20 years, right? They're already like, hey, let's give you the new fridge and talk about it. I'm like, I just got this fridge a year ago. That's a little weird, but I will be doing a review on the Samsung Family Hub. People are saying great show, good show.
Good, just good.
Musical Soul said great show. Great job. And Grun Smurf said good show. Thanks for the show. I wish Google Assistant would do the same apparently thing that Siri does. I'm getting pulled. Oh yeah, to be able to. So I don't know what this was. What someone programmed Siri to he will say to Siri, "I'm getting pulled over," and then it does something if you're in the car. I don't know what it does, but
probably records the police.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
I would assume.
I thought it was flip your license plate. And I don't know. Smash that like button, everyone. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff Eatley, everybody. And that's it. Those are all the questions.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for watching, guys.